This is a beautiful thing, you black motherfucker.
It's great to meet you.
Good to be met.
And Mama says hi. He knows my mom.
Mama says hi.
At Keanu. Got to
Yes.
So when I told her I was going to see you, she always tells me that. She goes, please tell him I said hi.
Tell Keegan I said hi.
I am so glad you explained this.
I guess when I saw
Wesley's going, who's Mama?
You said your mama says hi. I'm looking at you. Wow. There's a whole lot about Keegan.
Who's the guy that does the talk show? Maury. You are
the mama's baby.
It's not like that. Okay.
Mama always knows it with the baby. It's really, there's always a telltale sign.
He's a bad man.
And I look just like my dad.
You look just like your dad.
You know what? We're done. I can't talk anything else I'm going to do. Man, I'll tell you what. This just blew me away. As you know, I used to work radio here in LA at Power 106.
Yeah.
Rudy Ray Moore came to the radio station. This is mid to late 90s, and he was all dressed up in his garb. And I had heard of Dolomite, but I didn't really know. This movie opened my eyes. So bless you. So my opening question to you both is, first time you heard about Rudy Ray Moore, be it Dolomite or anything else. We'll start with you, Mr. Snipes.
First time I heard about Rudy Ray Moore must be, I don't know, maybe in my 20s? Well, because I wasn't allowed to listen to the Sinners records like other people would listen to.
The non-church going people.
Yes.
Right.
I
don't know who he's talking about, but that's not me.
As a Baptist boy, I wasn't allowed to listen to all of those. So I didn't know a lot about Rudy Ray Moore until literally my 20s. Yeah.
Yeah, I was 19. I was 19 years old, and I was a sophomore in college, and my improv troupe, we're sitting together, we're just having like a movie night, and somebody had already been exposed to Rudy Ray Moore. They popped the VHS tape into the VCR, and then we spent the next hour of our lives, I mean, the movie's longer than that, certainly, but we spent the next hour of our lives either laughing hysterically or our mouths agape. It was either, ha ha ha, or
I can't believe that.
like, what are we watching? How did this get made? Yeah.
Well, when he walked into the radio station, I was even kind of like, who is this guy? I loved him
Sure.
because he was
amazing,
loud, he was in your face, and you just knew it was him. But then as I researched, now I see this movie, I'm like, this dude, he's something else. So would you say he has had an influence on your careers at some point, maybe? Or
I mean, I think in a meta way, he has the influence. Because there's more of a kind of the fabric and tradition of pulling yourself up by your bootstraps maybe has affected my career. There's also it engenders a sense of hope. Kind of if he can do it, if you put your mind to it, anybody. It's that old adage of, if you put your mind to anything, you can do it.
Right. What made you most proud to be a part of this movie?
Working with Eddie Murphy. That has been one of the checks on the bucket list that I've been trying to check off for 20-some years, 20-plus years, working with Eddie Murphy.
You all immerse yourselves in these roles, and I absolutely just love this film, as I've said before. But watching him play this character, what was that like?
I mean, it's not too much to say magical, is it?
Absolutely. It's just fun watching Eddie do what he does and the mastery that he has over it. And to be in the clothes, which is an era that I absolutely love, was fantastic for me. So I'm tripping. I'm in character, but I'm also having the out-of-body experience of watching this moment, that I've always been longing for.
I'm kind of having it right now, because this is cool. I'm looking at you both. I'm like, this is cool. Seeing you together. No, it is.
I've been seeing this cat on TV and cracking me up, and him and his other partner, and doing all these funny jokes and skits and stuff like that. So, even to be in the company of these great artists was a blessing.
And that's how I feel about. Wesley's work and his body of work is so varied. We have to remember how varied it is. If you think of things like a movie like Water Dance or Tu Wong Fu, and something like Passenger 57 or Demolition Man, you have such a wide array of things that you've done and that you can do, and this just adds to it. You've never seen Wesley like this before. In fact, there's a very surreal moment in the movie that you've actually mentioned before. The scene where we're talking about the script, where you're the comedic one, and Eddie's the one that's doing all the dramatic work. And to be able to witness that happen, for me to be able to play with two people who are icons in my mind, and not just my mind, but in many people's minds. So it was a wonderful experience. Just a top level, top notch experience.
Fun.
Great to meet you both.
Thank you very much.
Empire in the house.
Yeah.
See, and I got to say that because on Fox 26 Houston, we do a thing, cookie bites. And so they do,
that's cute.
and there's a lot of those.
Hilarious.
And so you've been on there a couple times. So yeah, cool. Good to see you. This movie is amazing. It's hilarious.
Thank you.
Everybody's great in this film, but I'm just going to tell you, your characters had me laughing so hard. My first question to you both, because I thought about this as I'm watching the movie, how did you keep it together?
Well, I just kind of touched on this. I was afraid. So there was, I mean, I didn't feel at liberty to mess up. So you kept, I mean, there's Eddie Murphy in, what you gonna do, forget your lines? Or, you know what I mean? Like, come on, sir. So that's how I kept it together, fear.
Well, but see, you would never tell.
Well, good. I'm a good
Tony is
actor.
hilarious.
Thank you.
I mean, both your characters are just outstanding. But I'm thinking, how did they just not stop from just starting to bust out in laughter? And
You know, though, I will be honest. I mean, I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think because this isn't your quintessential ha 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 Eddie Murphy movie, like
Right.
joke. It was always humorous in the air. Humor was always in the air, but it was like a proper movie vibe, I would say. And then there'd be moments where it was like, oh, you know, like for me, the whole time that we were in the limo, we CGI'd it, and we were actually in a limo, and to have, I was here, Eddie was there, Tituss was there in the corner. To be that close to him and hear him in my ear saying jokes, that's when I would lose
know,
it.
it's like-
But in general, I would say, like, we all, not like we were so super serious, but you know what I mean? Like,
got
it
it
wasn't
together.
like, throw the joke. Like,
Right.
we were really focused. But definitely, I mean, for sure. But then, like, Mike's hilarious, Craig's hilarious, Keegan is, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it was
It was more
such
fun to
a...
watch. I felt like I was on their playground. So, and I had never done, a major motion picture like this before. So I didn't know what was par for the course. I mean, these are going to not be maybe not the sound bites you want, but this is the truth. I didn't know what was par for the course. I didn't know what protocol was. I didn't know how you were supposed to act when they yelled cut. You know what I mean? Like, of course, be yourself. Yes, but you're around the king
Right.
of comedy. So, I mostly just sat back and watched and learned, and I picked up a couple of pointers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And put them in your pocket for when it's time to go do your next project. But it was a masterclass the whole time.
I want to talk about the costumes because Ruthie Carter, Academy Award-winning
Yes.
costume designer
She
Ruthie
was?
Carter.
Yes.
I know, I've met her at Black Panther. We did some stuff with her.
Very lucky.
Sweetheart. What was it like to dress up and wear? By the way, I love that T-shirt. Speaking of dressing up,
Thank you.
You both look great.
Thank you so much.
What was it like to wear these costumes? That also, I feel like, is a character of this film.
Yeah. When Ruth does it, it is. I'll say that. When Ruth does it, your clothing is like a character. When I had my first fitting, I didn't know who the costume designer, at least for me, everything was like untitled. I knew nothing. And I later got information as we went along. So for my fitting, it just said Ruth, fitting with Ruth.
Yeah, I didn't know that she had won an Oscar, but she doesn't lead with that. So, I follow the person who leads.
Right.
So when
Yeah.
she dressed us and when she put us in all these costumes and suddenly made, it sort of informed who you were going to be and how you were going to walk and what you were going to say. It wasn't later until I went back and Googled her and I realized her long, pedigree. But I'm from the TV world and people, you just go in there and you put on what they
Real
tell you to put on.
fast.
So,
Half the stuff's from the department store. You know what I mean? So to have someone like Ruth at the table where there's so much care and where you just
so much care and
you
attention
feel
to detail.
good.
And
It feels-
she doesn't lead with ego either.
No.
Like she was like, if you don't want to wear it, if it's not comfortable, she let me take it off. Or
And you know you
my
get something else
feet
just
are
as
always
amazing.
hurting. And she was like, well, let's find you something else. So, you have this incredibly caring, attention to detail Academy Award winner dressing you. And, if I'm lucky enough to work with her again, I would be so blessed. But I didn't know much about her at all.
Gentlemen, it is great to meet you both. And man, what a movie. What a movie. What was it like to look around and see a cast like this, you two included? I mean, this is an ensemble. I mean, this is just an all-star lineup. But you go to work, you look around, you've seen this lineup. What are you thinking?
Oh, we stayed entertained. You know, our trailers were right next to each other. You know, so you would hear Mike blast music, and I go over there, "What's up?" You know, so it was entertaining, it was fun, it was silly, and there's a lot of love on that set. You know.
I worked radio here in LA at Power 106 years ago. Rudy Ray Moore came to the radio station. I'd heard of the character Dolomite, but I didn't really know. After he left, he was in your face, loud, wore the outfits. But I was like, I want to know more about this guy. Watching this movie, he opened up even more to me. So what surprised you both about this man as you really immersed yourselves into his life and his world?
I mean, you know, the fact that the stuff that he started with, which was nothing, you know, I mean, you hear the stories of somebody starting with nothing, but he really started with zilch. No money. He was getting couches out of the alley, using them for props, and you know what I mean? It's just like, it just reminded me of when you was a kid and you wanted to make a playhouse and you were scrapping up stuff. This man was literally doing that, you know.
It's one of the most anticipated films of the year, and it totally delivers what you expect. I mean, and then some. But again, as you uncovered the layers of this man playing these roles, what struck you as the most?
His perseverance was stuck out to me, like, because that's what it takes. It took every ounce of everything he had and then some to get his name out there, to the way he wanted it, the way he saw it. Nobody was trying to give him a movie, so he had to go make his own, you know, and that rings true today. And I even think about, like, what he made happen with nothing. You know, think if he had an iPhone, it'd have been over. He'd been making, you know, 100 movies a week.
Has he had any influence on your career? Because I love both your work. I mean, you guys are funny.
3 movies a week.
But would you say he's had any impact on your careers, or like influence maybe? You know, people look up to people. They do. Comedians especially look up to a guy like this. Maybe not the same content, but.
Yeah. Well, you know what? That's the thing about a guy like Rudy Ray Moore. You unconsciously, he probably did influence a lot of people. Because once you see the film and then you walk away from it, you carrying something away.
What was it like to see Eddie Murphy turn into this character?
Hilarious. Walking out of a couple times, I seen him come out the trailer and look around twice, then step down. He was into it.
Same question for you.
Yeah, it was. It's kind of surreal, you know. You got to stay on your game, because it's Eddie right there, and you know, Eddie means the world to me, to us, it's comics, you know. So it's like it made me grow as an actor, because I gotta go play ball with Eddie, and you know, forget about everything I know.
As I saw the film, I was kind of wishing I had the rights to all the old movies. You know how many people are going to look up all these old films
Right.
after
Like,
seeing this? I wonder, what do you think he would say, Rudy Ray Moore, if he knew what was going on right now?
This is a beautiful thing, you black motherfucker.